Hi, I'm Stefanie Wainwright. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner, and my life is chaotic all the time. So I created this podcast to help you find the funny, the good, while navigating through the chaos. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast. Maybe 27th time's the charm, huh? I don't know. Guys, it is Stefanie here, Chaotic Compass Podcast, and as always, it is chaotic getting to this point and trying to record an episode, so thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate you for listening past 5 seconds. So, this week, we are going to talk about mental load. There has been a lot of discussion in our house lately about mental load. And you guys are probably smart enough to know what a mental load actually is. But in case you don't know, I know you're smart enough to know, but in case you don't know, mental load is all of the invisible things that people carry around that tax our brain. It's our baggage, if you will. It's having to ask your partner for help, or, paying the bills, or remembering to pay the bills. Is keeping track of the kids' schedules, or keeping track of your schedule if you don't have kids, or keeping track of your spouse or your partner's schedule, or keeping track of your animals' schedules. Okay. Cleaning up the kids' shoes, the school papers, the mail. For me, it's a constant problem with the pieces of just random paper. Don't know where they've come from or how they got there, but it is constantly pieces of paper all over our house, between invoices for our businesses and kids' papers that need to be signed, or random just mail that it's like, why are we keeping this? I don't want a loan from Discover. Okay, I'm not going to refinance my home with Discover. That just sounds sketch. So sorry, Discover. Like, if you ever want to sponsor me and refinance my house at like 0.5%, I'm here for it. But other than that, no, I don't want to refinance my house. I'm good. So, or using the last of something, like when these kids use the last of the freaking toothpaste, it irks me so badly. Throw it away and get another one. Or if we don't have any more, we have a system to where you can write it down on this really cool, I made a frame, and you just write on the glass with a dry erase marker, and then therefore each, week, even probably more than that, we go to the grocery store, we take a picture of that, and then buy the shit and come back and erase the shit that we bought off of the list. It's a genius thing, but yet not a lot of people utilize it. The last I checked, there was a igloo and a penguin drawn on it. So that's what my kids utilize it for, instead of the grocery list of what it's supposed to be. Or the incessant question of what's for dinner. I feel like that, like, if you want to know what it feels like to be married, just ask yourself in the mirror, what's for dinner, until you die. That is the incessant question that is constantly going on between my husband and I, and it drives me insane. Like, we literally, well, that's March, but try to keep track of what we've eaten so we don't eat the same thing like 17 times in a month, which sometimes happens because we get in these habits and these ruts, and the kids just like what they like. And if we don't eat pizza on Friday nights when they're here, like, there's revolting, and they literally take over, and it's anarchy, and it's crazy. So I know that you have your thing. Those are some of the things that in my life that are the tip of the iceberg for mental load. What has really, really bugged me a lot lately is that I feel like I'm constantly that person, constantly the person, the nag, the person that is letting people know what they've done wrong and, hey, can we work on this better, or creating systems and processes, or having to follow up with the system processes. And it's like, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to be the person that's constantly pointing out holes. I don't want to be the person that's constantly trying to find solutions for the holes that I found. I just want to live in ignorant bliss. And I feel that that's what my husband does. Notice I said I feel like that's what my husband does, because I keep saying that that's what my husband does, but I know for a fact that he is a hard worker, and he, does a lot more around the house than anybody that I've ever known. So, but what I'm saying is that I feel like there's a lot of times where my husband is just in his own world, and he's completely content with that. So I just love technology, and I'm really hoping that this doesn't sound as bad as it looked. It looks better now, but I don't have any hopes that it's going to keep looking the same. So we're just going to keep plugging through. I don't know why I keep trying to push for the video aspect other than for social media clips. I just need to just not, and so it is what it is. So bear with me, guys. So mental load. I feel like all of these things lie invisibly on my shoulder, and I have a fear because I have a busted knee. I have to go get an MRI at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning. I know I got like aggressively with the microphone, but it really, who makes MRI appointments for 6 a.m.? Oh, me, because that's the only thing that they had available, or it was 10 p.m. What the fucking fuck? So not only do I have to be there at the place 30 minutes early, but that said place is 30 minutes from my house. Take it in for a minute. Okay, suffer with me for a hot second. So anyways, tomorrow morning, I'm going to get an MRI on my freaking knee. And so by the time I'm editing this, I will be exhausted. And so it is what it is. And so anyways, my knee is busted, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell the problem is. But I fear that I'm going to have surgery, and I'm going to be down for a really long time. And heaven forbid I am in like an accident or something, and like, I'm literally indisposed, but I'm fearful of not being able to do the things that I do, and then having to, one, remember all of the things that I do, and then two, tell somebody how to do all the things that I do. It's like, for me, I feel like it's more time to make the list, pick out the task to delegate. Delegate is the word that I was thinking of earlier, and that really annoys me, but it's okay. I was thinking of delegate, and I couldn't remember the word. I was like, it starts with a D, and they're like, dick. That's so crazy. And then explain those tasks that I'm trying to delegate to that person, and then follow back up to confirm that those tasks have been done. That sounds more of a mental load than the mental load that I'm carrying around, trying to figure out what I do on a daily basis to try to figure out what I could delegate to somebody and then tell them how to do that. I feel like it's like when you go over to a friend's house, right? And they're like cooking dinner for you, like an amazing friend. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. I would rather just go out to dinner. There's no pressure, okay? But like, they're cooking dinner and I feel obligated, like, is there anything I can do to help? But like damn well knowing that they're not gonna fucking say anything. I feel like that's what my husband does. He's like, how can I help? Damn well knowing that I'm not gonna fucking say anything because I can't mentally process all of the things that needs to be done in a day. Maybe this is just me. I hope this is not just me. So I Googled, right? Okay, so you go out and you Google things you can do for mental load. And I kept reading and I kept reading and I really felt like it was freaking patronizing. I really felt that it was just, it's like, just talk to your partner. And it's like, I do. Oh, believe me, I fucking do. But that homie has the memory of a fucking elephant. And wait, no, is it the elephant that can remember everything? Or is it because he has a peanut-sized brain? I can't remember. Anyways, he has a small retention span for the things that I would think that would have some more importance. Picture this. We have all of these systems. I have calendars galore. I have 2 massive whiteboards. I have systems and processes in place for our business and for our personal lives. And I feel like unless I tell him to remember, he doesn't remember. And so why should that be my problem to tell you to remember to do the things that you said that you were going to do? I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I'm over here in the deep end without floaties, freaking drowning, okay? And ain't nobody helping me, okay? You're supposed to be the one that's in this to win this with me, and the one thing on the internet, the number one thing, it's literally like, talk to your partner. Y'all, that's all I do. I feel like I talk it to death, and it's like I don't know how to. So I feel like these would be some very great steps, and these are the things that I'm trying to work through in my own life. And it's temporarily working. And so I will have to follow back up on this with you guys. So number 1, you have to understand your own mental load, right? You can't expect somebody to read your mind. And this is where I struggle. You can't expect somebody to read your mind and know everything that you've got going on. So first, you need to take a minute, take some time, gather your thoughts. What is your mental load? What are you carrying around? What is the task and responsibilities list for just you? That's a whole hell of a lot of shit, right? And if you can't even articulate in your own brain, or even articulate on a piece of paper or on your computer, or somehow formulate sentences to say, hey, this is what I've got going on, there's no way you're going to be able to tell anybody else who you're hoping to delegate or get a wow man that sucks from somebody, right? How do you do that? First one, start with your own responsibilities and duties list. I feel like I would spend days writing that down. I feel like I would spend so much time writing down what I do on a monthly basis. Just take that in. I don't know how to, and so I feel like it just, as soon as it comes up, just jot like a little, whatever that like script is, that's like shorthand, and like just write something down to remind me, oh, hey, let's go through this later. However you need to do it, you got to figure out what you actually do before you can share that with anybody. But that's segue into number 2. You have to sit down and talk. And this is where my husband and I used to, and it wasn't until this past weekend where we actually had a minute to like, hey, I'm struggling and I can't even have a conversation with you. And if I can't have a conversation with you, how the hell am I supposed to share my mental load? And I know you're frustrated because you want me to share my mental load, but I literally can't say anything without you getting whatever, okay? Put whatever word on it, right? And so I'm like, okay, so remove all of the shit, all of the, egotistical driven, well, I'm trying to be this person. It's like, okay, I know who you're trying to be. I know who I'm trying to be. But in these moments, we are not those human beings because we're exhausted, we're overloaded, and we're stretched thin. We literally have zero time for anything, much less trying to figure this out. So we have to figure this out now, or it's only going to get worse. It's April, y'all. If it's April and we're struggling this hard, it's going to be 10 times as worse in July and August when our fishing charters are running and the kids are going, in 7 different directions for summer activities, and with the business, with the mobile marine business, crazy. Like I only see it 10 times worse in June, July, and August, especially August if I'm trying to take a week away for vacation, God forbid. So we need to remove all of the shit, and we need to sit down, and we need to share our mental load with each other. We have to make time to share it, and then make time to share the list, plus how the list in each item, not necessarily each item, but how the list makes you feel. Because again, your partner or whoever you're trying to delegate to doesn't read minds. As much as we love for that to be a thing, that's not a thing. And I have to keep telling myself that on the regular. So say, hey, this is all on your list, and this is how I feel. Okay, so I've got some more steps, but we're going to take a break because just even talking about this gives me anxiety because it's a lot. I just feel like I'm just, bleh. Okay, but we are going to take a minute and we are going to talk about, my husband had gotten me one of these the other night. I'm pretty sure that I've tried these, but I can't remember, honestly. So we're just going to do it again. So give it a little Boulder Lemonade by Bold Rock. Well, Boulder Hard Lemonade by Bold Rock. So it's a can. It's 8% alcohol, which that's cool. It's how many ounces? 16 ounces. So it's a pint. So this is where we're at. Oh, it's been a hot minute since I did that, guys. Don't you just love that? I think I should just make a whole little reel of all the times I said tss, 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 tss. So here we go. We're going to try this. It's not horrible, but I also feel like it's not strong enough. 8%, that's pretty good. I mean, I could down one of these and I think I would feel okay, but I don't know, just looking for a different zang twang. Because it's sweet and not sour, and it's not hard. It's not, but I'm also in the vodka kick, so I guess that's what I'm used to. But anyways, Bold Rock Boulder Hard Lemonade. Check it out. I don't know. Tell me what you think. But okay. So number 1, we're making a list of our own tasks and duties, responsibilities, all of us, just by ourselves. And then we're just going to share them and share how we feel. Okay? All right, number 3. This is where it gets hard. Decide together if you want to do things differently. You might be okay with the amount that you've got going on. You just might want some recognition. I don't know. You got to figure out, what is your biggest irk? Is it that you want to offload some of your shit, or is it that you just want to bitch and you want somebody to validate your feelings? You got to figure that out too. So maybe that you need to put that back in number 1. Okay, so number 4. So once you've gone through figuring out, hey, do we want to do something differently? Okay, so if you want to do something differently, we need to divide up the work in an equitable way. equitable being, it's not going to be 50-50. It needs to be whatever works for you. There are some things that I know that my husband, it would take me like QuickBooks. Okay. We use QuickBooks and for our accounting software, and trying to teach my husband how to do that efficiently. I just do it. I take a Saturday, I reconcile the last month, and then we just move on. I can't imagine trying to show my husband all of the capabilities of a QuickBooks without losing my shit. So I'm going to hold on to that one just for my sanity. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes. But I don't see, unless I hire an accounting person, and we aren't bougie like that. So I'm just going to do it. But hey, when the kids get home, can you take making sure that each kid has an assigned responsibility? Or, hey, well, we don't have any kids. Pick the meals. I don't care what we eat. And if I have a problem with one of your suggestions, I would tell you, but 9 times out of 10, I really don't give a shit. I do not give a shit. I'm so mentally drained with all of the decision making for the week with the food, like, fuck it. I do not care. And he literally did that this weekend. He picked my beer and he picked the food from the food truck. And I was just like, the amount, you would think that would be so patriarchy or, so whatever, whatever word you want to put to that, but it wasn't. It was something that worked for me at the time because I was done with that week, and I needed to not think. I just wanted to drink a beer and relax and not. Okay. So we're dividing up the work equitably. So there might be some things that you want to hold on to, and that's okay. You just say that, but there's some other things that you might not be able to pass off because you want to make a list of what you want to do and what you don't want to do, but there's also things in there that need to be done regardless of who wants to do it. Nobody wants to take out the trash. It just needs to be done. Nobody wants to change a dirty diaper. It just needs to be done. So you got to figure out a way and a system to make that work. I don't know how to make dirty diapers work, and I'm thankful that my kids are past that point. I can't imagine of rock, paper, scissors for a kid with a shitty diaper. Like, nuh-uh. So, and number 5, this, when I came up with this list, I had watched a couple of videos and I kind of pulled everything together. But this last one is once you decide on things, and you figure it out, you've had these talks, you got to let it go. You got to let it go. There was this example of, I had passed off, if I'm going to get the kids ready, if I'm going to get the kids dressed and get their socks and shoes on, can you at least get the diaper bag ready? And they had gotten to the park and they were having a great day out, but her husband had forgotten to bring an extra change of clothes for the youngest, and apparently they leaked through their diaper and didn't bring enough diapers and didn't bring any snacks. And so by the time they got back to the house, they were dirty and cranky, and it was a hell of an experience. And that's hard. But I can remember specifically how I learned these things. You learn from those mistakes. With me, my daughter has done shit through her diaper. I'm not going to still be playing at the park, right? Or you're getting cranky because you're hungry. Okay, let's slide by Chick-fil-A on the way home. And then now I know, instead of spending $12 for some nuggets and some French fries to keep you happy, I know to bring some Cheerios, some Puffs, some whatever, and some extra ice water for us to drink together. And so I had to learn the hard way. And that's how they're going to learn too. So you have to be able to let it go. This chick is one of those people that is going to have a hard time. I do the thing where I have a hard time with knowing it's not going to be done the way that I done it. But what pisses me off the most is knowing that we've had these conversations, but then I've still got to follow back up with you to make sure that it's done. Ugh. It's a trust, but it's a process. It's a learning process. It's this, hey man, look, we talked about this and you didn't do this and this is how I feel. And you have that hard conversation and then hopefully they learn. But then by the third time, you're like, okay, man, I'm going to need you to sleep on the couch because you forgot to pay the electric bill and I don't want to talk about this anymore because it's either you sleep on the couch or we're not going to have any electricity and then we got to pay the extra money that we don't have to turn the electric bill back on. Okay. And it's like, I don't want to be putting you in the doghouse, but I don't know how to get you to learn because if I scream and I yell and I cry and it's still not getting any way or the 14 different conversations that we've had, that's something that I don't know how to have the same conversation over and over again. There's only so many times that Stephanie's going to be calm. And then I'm going to lose my shit. And then you're like, oh my God, why are you losing your shit? We just had this conversation last week about, hey, my son took me to Tinkletown and I didn't ask for that. And then, I lost my shit because, hey, look, we've had so many conversations and I don't want to have this conversation because your urine is on my ass cheek. I feel like we're in the same freaking boat here. I don't know how to say the same thing multiple times. So I've got enough grace and patience to say it with, I say at least 3 times. Sometimes I'll go longer than that. Maybe I didn't explain it right. Maybe I didn't convey the importance. Maybe we need to set up a better system or process. But it's so... Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying with the energy that it takes to try to put something off of your plate onto somebody else's? And I know that nobody wonders why I drink. See, I've got 1,000 reasons. It's exhausting. Life is exhausting. But we have this beautiful life and we are given it for a reason. And I'm trying to make the best of it. I'm just trying to raise good humans and not murder my husband. So with that being said, this is the conclusion to episode 86, you guys. 86 episodes, and you guys are still here. I appreciate you. Though one of my friends had, it's like I get to hang out with you on a weekly basis. Well, thank you. I appreciate that because I wish that I could hang out with you guys all because I communicate better when I'm in a group setting. I do better in group settings. So it's really weird for me to sit here and talk by myself. So I hope I, one, am bringing light to these hard subjects, but 2, I hope that I am helping you through something that you are struggling with. So, because these are real life fucking shits. This is real life things that I'm struggling with. My husband can attest to that. I need to get him on here. I need to be like, hey, remember that time that we talked about mental load? How'd that make you feel? It's a therapy session. So anyways, I appreciate you for tuning in. I don't think that the video is going to be great, so I might be able to put together something from this, but the audio will definitely be up. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, if you have something that you're struggling with or something that you would like to talk about, you are more than welcome to message me. I'm really cool now. I have bumped it up. So I'm on Facebook and I am on Instagram, but I am on TikTok as well. It's all the same videos. I'm just trying to reach a different audience. So, but, yeah. So, or you can go to my website, chaoticcompass.com, and you can message me there. So, anyways, as always, I love you. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of your love and support. If you really loved today's episode, you should subscribe. And if you subscribe, then you get notifications of when my next episode launches. So another way to be super awesome would be to leave a rating and review or recommend it to your friends and family. If you're wicked awesome, you've already done all three. Another way to keep up with me and my crazy family is check out my website at chaoticcompass.com, and I do blog and other stuff there. So I appreciate everything for you guys. I do this for you, so keep it up, because the more you subscribe, the more I do.